What's up, everybody? Today's video is, how did Real Madrid's super team fail this season? My name's Greg, an American living abroad in Spain, learning the beautiful game of football one reaction at a time with your help. Today's video is brought to you by Nabuto. Hopefully I said that correctly. Nabuto, probably. I'll definitely include a link in the description so you can go and show them some love. This was actually a recommendation by Kareem Adesgan. Hopefully I said that correctly as well. I got a lot of names to say here in this beginning here. So this is really my first look at Real Madrid, or Real Madrid, however you want to say it. I've been checking out Barcelona, and people have been saying you need to look at their rival. So I'm taking a look at it here. It's my first look. I'll be looking at a lot more. I have to look at the BBC and all of that. So, but this should be good. All right, let's go.
Liga and Champions League winners. And when it was announced that the superstar who scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final, Kylian Mbappe, was joining the team, it seemed inevitable that Real Madrid would only continue their domination of football for years to come. But this season proved anything but that. They've gotten destroyed by their bitter rivals FC Barcelona on more than one occasion, losing silverware to them. They're also behind Barcelona in the La Liga title race, and they recently got knocked out of the Champions League, a competition they historically.
And that's so crazy because PSG, isn't that what they're called? They won EuroLeague, I think. So I'm just saying that Mbappe left and then they had some success, and then he goes over here and they don't. Wonder what that means. I don't know.
Historically dominated by Arsenal Football Club. So what's gone wrong for Real Madrid this season, and what are some potential reasons for their underwhelming performances in this campaign? Well, let's take a look at what went wrong for this new Galacticos era this season. The first reason for why I think Real Madrid have underperformed in this 24-25 campaign is because of Florentino Perez's poor transfer strategy. Now, it's no secret that the president of Real Madrid loves a superstar signing. I mean, that's how he won the election to become the president of the club many years ago, by promising superstar signings. And to be fair to him, he was a man of his word. He brought in Luis Figo from rivals Barcelona right when he became president, and throughout the years, he sent other stars like Zinedine Zidane for a world record transfer fee at the time for Juventus, who then won Madrid a Champions League for the club. Then there's Cristiano Ronaldo, who won so much at Madrid, and other stars like Karim Benzema, Ronaldo Fenomeno, David Beckham, Vinicius Jr., etc. So when Florentino Perez signed Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid this summer, it came as no surprise for football fans, as this is what we would expect from Perez. But even though Kylian Mbappe would bring in tons of revenue just off his name and brand, from a football perspective, this signing really didn't make too much sense. Now, it's no secret that Mbappe joined Real Madrid.
That's interesting. I wonder why it didn't make sense. Style of play? Or did they already have somebody like him? Was it like it was redundant, like duplicating same skill set? I mean, I don't know.
Football perspective, this signing really didn't make too much sense. Now, it's no secret that Mbappe joining Real Madrid was always going to happen. These two have been flirting with each other for years, but coming off the 2023-24 season, Real Madrid won the La Liga title and they won the Champions League. So their squad was already top notch. Not only that, to win these trophies, they relied heavily on their best player last season, the left winger Vinicius Jr., who not only scored in the final of the Champions League, but also was getting shouts to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or. And some people to this day still think he got robbed of that. Additionally, Real Madrid also employed Rodrigo, who does play on the right hand side, but he's naturally a left winger as well. So when you already have these two superstars on each wing, both preferring the left, it doesn't really make too much sense to sign another left winger in Kylian Mbappe. Now, Mbappe can hypothetically play anywhere across the front line, and this season he's played a majority of his games at the striker position, but he's definitely better as a left winger. After all, that's the position he himself has come out publicly and said that he prefers. This is literally the same scenario.
Let's see.
After all,
Kylian Mbappe doesn't want to play as a striker at Real Madrid.
that's the position he himself has come out publicly and said that he prefers. This is literally the same scenario as when Florentino Perez had David Beckham, when they already had Luis Figo. And with both players sharing the same position, that signing as well didn't make too much sense footballing wise. So looking at this signing with my football only glasses on, signing a top player who plays in the same position as your best player and the face of the club doesn't really make too much sense. In fact, if you look at the beginning of the 2024-25 season, when Real Madrid weren't playing the best, both Vini and Mbappe had a similar heat map where they both preferred the left hand side, even though Mbappe was technically playing as the number 9. Now, I'm not saying both Vini and Mbappe hate each other and both players want to be the only left winger at the club. No, because it seems like both these players have a good relationship on and off the pitch. But these two just couldn't find a way to play with each other on the pitch. And although Mbappe grew into the striker position as the season went by and learned that you don't need to be offsides 8 times in a singular match and can hold back your run, Real Madrid started to perform better. But it wasn't good enough still. I mean, just look at when Vinicius got a red card and had to miss the 2 La Liga games against Las Palmas and Real Valladolid. And
oh, really?
Look at when Vinicius got a red card and had to miss the 2 La Liga games against Las Palmas and Real Valladolid. Mbappe ended up playing without Vini there, and he ended up scoring a brace against Las Palmas and a hat-trick against Real Valladolid. So that sums that up. These two just
sounds like there's some drama brewing over there. I wonder what's going to happen next season.
Ended up scoring a brace against Las Palmas and a hat-trick against Real Valladolid. So that sums that up. These two just can't play with each other as they both like playing a similar position. But Florentino Perez didn't just grew up by signing Mbappe, because it's actually much more than that. After winning the 2024 Champions League, Real Madrid experienced some departures that needed replacing. First, their old captain, Nacho Fernandez, left to Saudi Arabia. Then the striker Joselu, who scored the brace against Bayern Munich in the semifinals to take them to the final, left to Al Gharafa in Qatar. And Toni Kroos, the midfielder that was so crucial to Real Madrid's success and dictated the tempo of the game from the middle of the pitch, decided to retire from football after the season. And with Kroos and Modric being a huge reason why Real Madrid were so successful in the Champions League, they needed replacing. Even though Modric hasn't left Madrid, he's just old as hell, bro. He's like 40 years old. But guess what? Even with
I guess that's old, I guess. But I think he left after this year. I think I just watched a video about the 2024-25 season.
Even though Modric hasn't left Madrid, he's just old as hell, bro. He's like 40 years old. But guess what? Even with Nacho leaving, Real Madrid didn't sign a single center back, as they were content with just either Militao and Rudiger as a senior center back, with Alaba only coming back in 2025 after a long-term injury. They also didn't sign another striker since Joselu left. Even though, yes, they had Endrick now, but bro's like a long-term injury. They also didn't sign another striker since Joselu left. Even though, yes, they had Endrick now, but bro's like 5'8" and isn't a traditional striker. And if you're gonna spam crosses like Real Madrid did against Arsenal, you're gonna need a proper number 9. Even Courtois mentioned that in the post-match press conference. And with Kroos leaving too, they didn't sign a single midfielder to replace him. Instead, Tchouaméni and Camavinga were given the responsibilities to fill that void. And let's just say they haven't done a good job at that, even though it's not entirely their fault. And this brings me to reason number 2, how injuries have affected Real Madrid a ton this season. Now, towards the beginning couple of months this season, Real Madrid would only suffer a few minor injuries, like to Vinicius, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, and Camavinga receiving injuries that would have them miss a few games at a time. But as Real Madrid's team had to play more matches as the season went by, with the Spanish football calendar just being so congested, like how are some teams playing after 48 hours, what the heck? Real Madrid started to suffer some serious injuries. Dani Carvajal, the captain, would miss the rest of the season after suffering an ACL injury, and the only other right back Madrid had was Lucas Vazquez, with them waiting for Trent to sign on a free in the following summer. Even though, please Trent, please stay, I'm on my knees, bro, please don't leave. But anyways, with Carvajal going out, y'all already know Madrid was fucked. To be fair, Federico Valverde has played a lot of right back this season, which isn't his position, but hey, at least he's better than Lucas Vazquez. But then Eder Militao also suffered his second ACL tear, which also means he was out for the rest of the season. And the only senior team replacements were Rudiger, who's already playing, and Alaba, who wouldn't be available until a couple months later. And this injury is the reason why Raul Asensio was even given a shot to play senior team football, because usually Real Madrid never relies on their academy. But the one time Madrid relies on one of their Madrid products, they choose to promote Line Maker 2.0 or EDP 2.0. Y'all know what I mean. And these injuries come
I don't know what you mean. What does it mean?
Football, because usually Real Madrid never relies on their academy. But the one time Madrid relies on one of their Madrid products, they choose to promote Line Maker 2.0 or EDP 2.0. Y'all know what I mean. And these injuries cause a domino effect for how bad Real Madrid's been. With Valverde playing in the back 4, Tchouaméni was now stranded in the midfield with 4 attackers in front of him, which often left him or Camavinga stranded in the middle of the park, which is why Real Madrid kept getting cooked. And losing crucial players like Militao and Carvajal in general was always going to be hard to bounce back from. Let's be serious. So with the defense of Real Madrid being down tremendous, Ancelotti just relied on the attack to help them out and get results. And let's just say relying on an attack that's already struggling to figure themselves out isn't the smartest strategy. And this is also why Carlo Ancelotti is apparently leaving at the end of the season, because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing anymore. But that's a completely different topic. But now,
that is a different topic. Let's see here. Is he the coach?
He's apparently leaving at the end of the season because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing anymore, but that's a completely different topic. But now let's go to my third reason on why Real Madrid have been poor this season. And the fact of the matter is, they're just not that good. Like, bottom line, I don't really care how many superstars this team has. They've shown nothing to me this season that proves that they're a world-class side still. These guys have been extremely inconsistent in La Liga.
That's not weird, but that's interesting that they're just not that good. I guess he's just saying just as a team, they're not that good. Even no matter how many superstars they had, they're just not a good team.
Me this season that proves that they're a world-class side still. These guys have been extremely inconsistent in La Liga. Sure, they might be second place right now in La Liga, but their performances haven't been all that. In the first 3 games of the campaign, they already drew twice. West Mallorca 1-1, and then the Las Palmas 1-1. And then although Madrid would get mainly positive results later in 2024, as they beat down teams near the bottom of the table, like beating Girona 3-0 or Leganés 3-0 as well, they could never beat a team that was near their level. They drew to Atletico 1-1. They got absolutely destroyed by Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu 4-0. They lost to Athletic Bilbao 2-1, and then in 2025, it got even worse for Madrid. They lost to Espanyol Sabah 1-0, drew to Atleti again 1-1, drew to Osasuna 1-1, lost to Real Betis 2-1, shout out to the American Johnny Cardoso for scoring against them though, and then most recently at the time we're recording this, they lost to a last minute winner from an underperforming Valencia side 2-1. So for Madrid standards, they've been awful. To rub more salt in the wounds, they lost in the Supercopa de España final to Barcelona 5-2. Yeah, they keep getting destroyed against their rivals this season, and although they're in the Copa del Rey final against their rivals Barcelona again, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet my life savings on Barcelona to win this game. And even if Barca somehow doesn't win that game, winning just the Copa del Rey isn't a saving grace for Madrid this season. It's still a failure. And I haven't begun to talk about Real Madrid's usual bread and butter, the Champions League. Because wow, they've disappointed in this competition in this 24-25 campaign. In this new Champions League format, Real Madrid were still expected to flourish as the previous Champions League winners, but they did anything but that. Although they beat Stuttgart in the first game 3-1, they lost to Lille in the following match 1-0. Kylian's younger brother Ethan and his team beat Real Madrid. That's crazy.
Oh, Kylian has a younger brother?
They lost to Lille on the following match 1-0. Kylian's younger brother Ethan and his team beat Real Madrid. That's crazy. Then the following game, Real Madrid would go down 2-0 to Borussia Dortmund. But luckily, thanks to a Vinicius hat-trick, they came back and won 5-2. But the fact that even went down 2-0 at home in the first place was alarming. Following that, Real Madrid would be even more underwhelming. Somehow losing to AC Milan 3-1 at home. An AC Milan side, by the way, who might not even play in Europe next season. They've been dreadful. And then they lost to a team that they usually own in Champions League finals, Liverpool 2-0. A shocking loss. And this left Real Madrid at around 18th place. Potentially knocking them out of a potential playoff spot. Luckily, they managed to lock in for the last 3 games against lower level opposition, respectfully of course, and this allowed them to finish 11th in the table and make the playoffs, where they would play against Manchester City. Now this isn't the usual good Man City side we've seen over the years, because this City side this season have been awful to their standards. Like they're currently fighting for a top 4 and potential Champions League spot for the next campaign. They really haven't been that good, but even with that, Man City put up a good fight in the first leg at home, scoring 2 goals that would give City the lead each time, but Real Madrid would answer that with 3 goals of their own, and with Bellingham scoring the winner at the last minute, Madrid would win 3-2. Then in the second leg, Kylian Mbappe would show up in a big game, even though City were awful this season, and scored a hat-trick to help Madrid beat City 3-1 and make the round 16. And in the round 16, they would have to face Atletico Madrid, a side they've only drawn to in this campaign, but luckily in the home leg.
Oh, okay.
16, they would have to face Atletico Madrid, a side they've only drawn to in this campaign. But luckily in the home leg, thanks to 2 match-class goals from Rodrigo and Brahim Diaz, Real Madrid would beat Atletico for the first time this season 2-1. And then in the second leg away from home, they conceded in the first minute due to a Conor Gallagher tap, and with Vinicius missing his penalty, sending the ball to space, the game had to be taken to penalties. And lucky for Real Madrid, after a dodgy decision saying Julian Alvarez touched the ball twice on his pen, Real Madrid will win the shootout and make the quarterfinals. But in the quarters is when things went south for Madrid, because they had to play Arsenal. And man, I feel so let down by Madrid, because I really thought Arsenal stood no chance against the 15-time champions. Look what I said about them before the game, bro.
I think it's safe for me to bet on Real Madrid making the semifinals over Arsenal. I just think it's inevitable for that. Sorry, Arsenal fans, but I doubt this is going to be your year if I'm keeping it real. But yeah, I got Real Madrid going through, just like every other sane football fan.
Let's move on to Real Madrid versus Arsenal. I'm just going to let you take it from the jump. What do you think goes down here?
Yeah, man, Arsenal don't got it. Yeah, they don't got it. Yeah, it's not happening. No chance. I highly doubt it. This is the time I'm the most confident on. If Arsenal wins this, I'm going to look like the biggest goofball on the internet for a couple days.
Instead, I was made out to look like a fool, and now I
A goofball. Nah, it's okay, brother.
Arsenal wins this, I'm gonna look like the biggest goofball on the internet for a couple days.
Instead though, I was made out to look like a fool, and now I can't escape the Jinx Buto allegations. Because although Madrid had a couple of chances, they got dominated in each game. And Declan Rice would not just score one, but 2 free kicks against Real Madrid in the first leg. And then Mikel Merino would rub salt in the wounds and make it 3-0 at the Emirates. Then after this game, Real Madrid would start to hype up this potential comeback, saying they'll be Arsenal and make the semi-finals for sure. Like Lucas Vasquez saying that if any team can come back, it'll be Madrid. Then Jude Bellingham saying the word he's heard the most in the locker room is remontada. Then Rodrigo's dad doing some prayer outside the Bernabeu. Then Vinicius saying mañana at 9 p.m. Real Madrid TV saying 90 minutes at the Bernabeu is a very long time, with Real Madrid's Twitter account posting that in multiple languages off ChatGPT, etc, etc. There was so much talk about hyping up this potential comeback. Like bro, if you're gonna talk about coming back this much, you better back up that talk on the pitch. And guess what? They did anything but that. In fact, Real Madrid embarrassed themselves. Sorry Madrid, but coming back from 3 goals down isn't for everybody. Although Courtois saved a Bukayo Saka Panenka penalty in the first half, they would fail to get themselves an advantage for everybody. Although Courtois saved a Bukayo Saka.
That's a long name. Bukayo Saka Panenka.
Saka Panenka penalty in the first half, they would fail to get themselves an advantage, and Bukayo Saka would then get his chip right from open play in the second half to take the lead at the Bernabeu. And although Vinicius got a gift from Saliba to score a goal back from Madrid, it didn't matter with Martinelli scoring against Real Madrid somehow. Imagine letting Martinelli dunk on your club, that's crazy. And Arsenal won away from home 2-1, which meant that the Gooners beat Real Madrid 5-1 over 2 legs. That's embarrassing, like really embarrassing. Real Madrid talked all that shit just to get taken for a walk in the park. But wow, that's honestly disgraceful. And listen, I'm not an Arsenal fan, do not get this twisted, but man, Real Madrid, y'all are fucking trash this season. I'm sorry. What do you want me to
I think it's hilarious that he beeps, like he's beeping out the curse word, but he still curses. I think that's funny.
fan, do not get this twisted, but man, Real Madrid, y'all are fucking trash this season. I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? Trent, how can you join these guys, bro? They're sorry as hell. There's not much to say about Madrid. You just gotta sit back and laugh. But now, let's talk about where Madrid goes from here, and is there any hope that Madrid can overcome this difficult period? And I think there is some hope, but there's some caveats for sure. The first hope is the manager, Carlo Ancelotti, who's had a poor managerial season this year. He's on his way out with Brazil's national team heavily chasing his signature, and the replacement seems to be Xabi Alonso.
Oh, that's right. I think he left. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the one who left, and then the next day had at a press conference at Brazil, I think, or something like that.
On his way out with Brazil's national team heavily chasing his signature, and the replacement seems to be Xabi Alonso, who I think will become the Real Madrid manager. Someone fresh and new is going to be a good thing for Madrid, but I wonder how this is going to work, because Xabi, to my knowledge, loves playing with the back 5 system with the fullbacks essentially being wingers, but we'll see how Xabi adapts with Real Madrid. Then Real Madrid have to go big this summer with the signings. It seems like they'll likely get my beloved Scouser Trent Alexander-Arnold on the team, but he's not going to be helping with Madrid's defensive problems. Sure, you're going to get Carvalho and Militao back, but will they be the same players after an ACL injury, especially Militao, because he's had 2 now. And going back to Trent, I mean, he's an attacking fullback. He won't cure Real Madrid's defensive problems. And right now, he's the only player heavily linked to Madrid with the move. And I don't know whether Florentino Perez is going to dive deeper in the market for some more players. Additionally, I can't see this Vinny and Mbappe Rodrigo experiment lasting for too much longer. So what I'm trying to say is, I think one of these star players is going to leave this summer or the next one, unless Xabi Alonso finds a way to function with all of them. Now, I don't think Rodrigo is going to leave. He doesn't seem the type to. I just don't know how else to explain that. And Mbappe just joined, and he's arguably become the face of Real Madrid this year, so he's not leaving either, which means just one thing. My bold prediction is Vinicius could leave Real Madrid in the summer of 2025 or 2026. Maybe to Saudi Arabia or maybe to somewhere else. I don't know. But if one superstar player is going to leave Real Madrid this season, I think it's going to be him. And I think this will benefit Real Madrid with a left wing position being wide open for Mbappe to make his own. And maybe the team will function back to how it should and become the kings of Europe yet again. But what do you guys think about Real Madrid's failure of the season? Do y'all agree with my reasons, or is there something else that's causing Madrid's downfall? And do you guys agree with my prediction that Vinicius might leave? Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, follow my Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and join the Discord community. All the links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn more about how the USA might be doomed for the 2026 World Cup, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.
Man, he's a fast talker, that's for sure. I gotta really pay attention on that. But it's just so interesting to me that everybody just leaves. Like, so many players change teams. It's unbelievable. It's not something that I've been used to in, sports in America, but that so frequently that they change teams. So that was great. That was great information. I think I got an introduction to some of their issues and the problems that Real Madrid had. So, but we'll see what's going to happen this summer. That's going to be interesting. He said, now I know what to look out for certain things. So subscribe to the channel, like the video. That way you can be a part of my brain trust. Thanks for stopping by. See you on the next video. Peace.